Christi. Since when you applaud the vocations? It's not easy to stand in for Father Beagley. Father Beagley taught me theology at Kendrick Seminary. But I'll try to stand in as best I can for him. Let us place ourselves in the presence of our Lord. Lord Almighty Father, we thank you for all the blessings that we have received. We thank you for the blessings of this fellowship, this gathering of friends from far and wide, from long ago, lost friends, new friends, old friends. We thank you for this gathering. We thank you for all the blessings that you have given us throughout the years. We thank you for the gift of Jim Grumich. We thank you for his dedication and his love and his ministry to all the thousands of students that he has touched. He has been a godsend, an example to us all, a model for us how to live, for all the lives he has touched, for the dedication he has shown to every student here, to the dedication he has shown to his family, to his friends, his parish community at St. Sebastian, and the Archdiocese of St. Louis, and to all of his church. We thank you, Lord, for this gift. We are here to honor him tonight. But we also praise you, Lord, for giving us this gift of Jim. And let us be mindful, too, of all those who couldn't be here tonight. Those who have gone before us, those who have died, those who are ill and sick. We keep them in mind tonight as we share in fellowship. For this we thank you, O Lord, in your name. Amen. Amen.
Ringmaster of a three-ring circus. Aquinas Mercy in the back. Mercy High and Aquinas Mercy. You are now going to see and hear the story of a very famous teacher. And here is our handsome and dashing guest of honor. Stand up, Jim Grumich. before we move, I know this is a retirement party for Jim Grumich, but before we go any further, I want to introduce somebody. Maureen, would you please stand up? Is Jim Grumich what? And Maureen, I know this is for Jim tonight, but most of us who know you even a little bit know that your contributions to Jim's success were not insignificant. Now, the rest of the evening, we may be gushing over Jim a little bit, get a little syrupy, but you have license. If we get a little too gushy, you say, oh, well, he's good, but he's not that good. By the way, can you hear me in the back of the audience? Okay. As much as possible, I'm going to try to move away from the podium. And remember, we used to do theater in the round. We'll try that a little bit until my voice gives out. Well, it's starting to give out already. MCs very frequently will cite some obscure French or German philosopher and make some profound statement. I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'd like to do is give a quotation from a very famous American actress. And that actress is Sally Field. At Academy Awards many years ago, she made a very, very profound statement. She got in front of the entire members of the Academy and with such eloquence said, "You like me. You really like me." And Jim, that wasn't a very profound statement. And we're going to go tonight and say some nice things about you. And a lot of these things rather perfunctory. We're supposed to do this at a retirement, but the fact of the matter is, we like you. We really like you. As we travel through life, a lot of times we go through phases. Sometimes those phases are very, very well defined, and they are also accompanied with a ceremony, like a wedding. Some of the things I have here are a retirement party, a very formal event, a commencement exercise. It's a moment in time when you know exactly, I am passing from this phase to this phase. Sometimes you have events that mark the phase, and they're not so formal, but yet they're very recognizable. Your first day at college, your first job, maybe a birth of a child, very well-defined moments. There are other times when you pass from one phase to the next, and it's only in reflection that you knew, oh my gosh, I passed through something. That was a moment in time. And I'm going to tell you about my moment in time, and that was a time, and Jim Grumich was a player in that. I'm a sophomore in high school. I came from St. Sebastian, and at that time I was the only person from St. Sebastian at Aquinas Mercy High School. So, for the most part, I was an outsider. It's my sophomore year. James Grumich, I don't know if anybody, gave us an assignment in a speech class. The assignment was, oh my God, I have to give a speech. The amount of terror that opened into my body was immense. However, I had the likes of, there was two girls in notable. One of them was Ann Corley. The other was Sue Glenn, whose oratory skills were much, much better than mine. But nonetheless, gripped with so much fear, I took Jim Grumich's assignment, and because I didn't want to speak, because I knew my voice would quiver, I instead decided to do a pantomime. And my pantomime was to walk into the room, Had in mind that I was shooting billiards in a billiard hall, and my cue stick would rip the felt, and then I was forcibly removed from the room. And I did something like this, and they carried me out of the room. And of course, as I exited the door to the classroom, I slapped on the door to make a big noise. And I did it. And I went down the hallway, the door shut behind me, and in that room was laughter, and in that room was applause. It was just it just felt so good. About 2, 3, 4 weeks later, I don't know when it was, Jim Grumich came up to me and he invited me to join the drama club. I said, okay, that's cool. That was the phase in my life. I realized at that point that things changed. I learned things. And you know what? I wasn't the only one that was given an invitation, a direct invitation to join the drama club. My suspicion is a lot of you out there got a direct invitation from Jim Grumich to join the drama club. So, what did I learn? I made a little list of the things that I learned. The most important thing I learned was stage fright is a very common disease, but it is not terminal. I learned that having a rapport with an audience is absolutely invigorating. I learned that enunciation is important. In fact, the person that taught me that is Jim Cotwinkle in the back of the room. Projecting my voice to the back of a hall was important to me. Making the most of my talent and not trying to be better than everybody else, I learned was important. Fulfilling my responsibilities and my accountability to the cast and the crew of a production is important and was part of my maturation process. The point being, though, is Jim Grumich didn't teach me all those things. He taught me a few of those things, but what he did, and that's why there's so many people here, is he set up the infrastructure for our drama club. He put the wheels in motion. And he did it at Aquinas Mercy High School. He didn't just do it there. He did it in 3 different phases. He did it at Corpus. He did it at Mercy. He did it at Thomas Aquinas. And for all of us, Jim, that's your biggest legacy. Of all the things you did to put these things in place. I had a list of things I wanted to describe Jim Grumich. I just decided there was the one thing that Jim Grumich was, above all others, as far as I was concerned, is he is an opportunity maker. He put things in place, and didn't necessarily do all the work. He put things in place, started the wheels rolling, and we all benefited from that. The rest of the evening, what we're going to do is talk about Jim, reminisce with Jim, and for the most part, we're going to do it in chronological order. Abe? I think I hear a song coming. Grumich. My memory is a bit misty. They say he opened Corpus Christi. His name was James, drama was his game, the rest is ancient history. Opportunities he gave for us to play the stage. There were skills we obtained because his energy never waned. And now we give him our praise. The first phase of Jim Grumich's career was at Aquinas Mercy High School. That's where he started. Jerry Stromeyer, class of 1963, will tell us a little history of that.
I was honored when I was asked by the Grumich family to speak for the years at Corpus Christi. And I certainly go almost back to the beginning. Not quite. You know, Mary Ann Sargent's here. She's older than me. But I entered high school in 1959, and Jim only beat me to Corpus by a semester. He came the semester before and taught at Corpus from 59 to its demise in 73.
You'll never die.
Right. We live. What can I say about those early days? Especially, you know, those of you that were there with me know what it was like. But those of you who weren't, and come along later, let me tell you that at one time he was young. At one time he was a newlywed. At one time he didn't have children. You know, and some of us knew him then. But you know, and Mike has made some references to those, you know, about what he did in terms of building the program, in terms of taking each one of us really and giving us something that was memorable and meaningful and really does sustain most of us all of our lives. The Corpus program was dynamic. I mean, you talk about it's a small school. You know, we had less than 400 students in the whole school. And it was one of the most dynamic programs going. But I think beyond, yeah, right. But you know, beyond the shows and what we did, it's more than that. Because I can remember the times that Jim would load us all in the car on a Friday night. And I mean, today, I know we would never do that. It's like, oh, no, 70 people in the car. I would say the same thing today, but those days, you know, and none of us had cars. You know, we didn't have, my main social life was the drama. You know, I did not have a life. I don't want to steal the thunder, but somebody said to me, you know, that Jim gave us an opportunity. Let us do with that opportunity, and in some cases, let us fail with that opportunity, but you know, he didn't stand in the way. You know, I remember the summer theater class that grew into a show. Some of you may remember as far back as a thing called Made to Order. Mike Tony played several roles many years ago. You know, that summer program went on to grow to become, in some of the high and on Providence Days into 4 major productions and three production photos from the Dark Weekend. 7 shows. Even now I think about it, and I think, 7 shows we did, my goodness. All because of Jim. You know, and that legacy is continued down through us, our children, and perhaps some of you that are old enough, even your grandchildren. Jim, we thank you for the years of Corpus, you know, and for all you've done for all of us. From the Corpus days, and I'm sure you live about this. Thanks so much.
We're doing very well on time. What I'd like to do at this moment is offer the floor, or the microphone rather, to anybody from Aquinas Mercy High School who would like to say a few words. And since we have some hard of hearing people in the back, why don't we use the microphone? If someone else back there wants to say something, come on forward now, and then we'll just keep going with the microphone.
You heard from me once. No, I'm not going to give a homily. Okay, that's next week. Next week at St. Norbert Parish. My name's Len Sissels, class of 65. Perhaps a deacon shouldn't tell this joke, but there was a play that Jim produced called Bad Seed. And the joke was, you know, Jim Grumich is producing Bad Seed. Please don't tell the Archbishop, okay? Will you promise me? Don't tell Regali that I said. And I do thank Jim for all he has done, the role model that he has given me. It was my involvement in Corpus Christi Theater, in the Summerstock Theater. I had the lead role in Stalag 17, which is the only lead role I had, but I had a lot of other nice times that kept me off the streets of Delwood. Woo, tough time back in Delwood. But through his influence, I knew that I wanted to do something in theater, and it took a strange twist. I went to St. Louis University for a year and really just devoted myself completely in theater. And I was involved in a lot of productions at St. Louis University. Unfortunately, that's all I did. And I soon left St. Louis University, but I came back after a stint in the military. And I knew I wanted to do something. And with a combination of my medical background as a corpsman in the United States Coast Guard for 4 years, I decided to become a speech therapist. And I went out to Southern Illinois University, got my degree in speech pathology, and went to St. Louis University, got a degree in communication disorders with a minor in psychology and special ed. And for 25 years, I've worked in the area of speech therapy. So, Mike, if you lose your voice,
I'm over here.
I know a good speech therapist. Come to my clinic, I'll take care of it. But all of this was a direct result of knowing, having confidence in myself, and knowing that I could do something worthwhile with my life. But thank you, Jim.
When I first came to Corpus Christi in 66, 67, I think, there were 100 girls in drama club. That's when Corpus was all girls. Okay, so. And I thought to myself, you know, that Mr. Grumich must be some theater teacher. Everybody wants to study with him. Well, it wasn't very long before I came to realize that there were so many girls in drama club because that was the only Corpus activity that allowed boys. and every one of them were serious students of the theater. They didn't think one thing about all those girls. It also didn't take me very long to realize that Mr. Grumich really did know theater. His talent, commitment, and dedication produced 4 quality plays each school year and a musical, and in addition to 7 plays every summer. He took those 100-plus kids and guided them to develop their own talents, self-discipline, and confidence. He showed us by his gentle nature that by pleasing him, we were pleasing ourselves, and all we wanted to please him. He stayed in the background, and he let us shine. Mr. Grumich instilled in us a love of theater that we carried with us throughout our lives. In all the college and community theater programs in which I've worked, the quality of Mr. Grumich's production has always been the standard by which I've measured the quality of every other show I've been involved in. He gave us all a firm foundation in theater and a love of life and art, and he did it with gentleness and compassion. When he decided to start an alumni players group in 1983, I jumped at the chance to work with him again, even though it meant having my 2-year-old daughter paint sets with us up at Mercy High School. The shows had that same quality that was Mr. Grumich's trademark. Did you know that we actually got him to act in a production? He played Meriwether, the butler, in The Importance of Being Earnest, right here at St. Thomas Aquinas Mercy. Lane the butler. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Lane. He knows what part he played. And he did a good job. He was excellent. I don't know why he hasn't acted more. Maybe now that he's retired. The rep will pick him up in a second. Mr. Grumich, after 42 years of this, you certainly deserve a rest. But know that you will be greatly missed. Always remember that in those 42 years, you didn't just teach us, you inspired us. Thank you so much.
Sincerely, I realized I had planned 2 pages. This is very impromptu, but I am Mayor Joy Brown, formerly Moriarty, class of 71. I survived the days when it was all girls, and we had 7 productions every summer, and it was wonderful. I'll be brief. I just want to let them know that what we learned, not just on stage, but off stage, enabled us to go on in life and help our children, our families, those who come in contact with. Just be your best self, and it's doing things like this right now. To be able to just walk up here and talk to a room full of, I know a handful, but basically a room full of strangers, or whether it be to help volunteer to teach children at school, or whatever we've done over the years, it's been possible because of abilities we learned under your tutelage and guidance and love those years, and it just is it's special. It's very special. And we see our children now. Tonight with friends from school that I haven't seen for a while. And our children are together in a couple of cases now on stage or in school or whatever. It's like it's come full circle. Last night, my daughter, youngest, was on stage for Diane's productions in junior high. Things like this, it's just overwhelming. But it all started with the seed we planted, and I feel like we're reaping the harvest of all these good things we did for us. We appreciate it sincerely.
Still. And class of 71, proud to be here. To begin with, I have known Jim Grumich for a long time. I've known his family for a long time. In fact, talking about all the things going on here, his wife taught my 2 nephews preschool, and they can't believe that her husband actually taught me. They're like, is he still alive? His daughter Mary Beth and I I go back a long time when she taught with me at Rosary High School when she was a student. And I was telling some kids at school that I was going to this party tonight that was really important to me because they think I'm really nuts. Because of Jim Grumich, and only because of Jim Grumich, this is my 25th year in Catholic education. And I've seen it all. I've taught Joanne Costello's children. I've been the principal to Linda Benegoti's children. And Joanne Costello, her son, is now a teacher, and I have both of her children. And I'm still scared for them. But going back to a couple of things I was telling the kids that Jim Grumich was great for in class. Not only was he wonderful in drama, you had to have his drama classes and have him as an English teacher. I still remember the day that he was teaching us about Caesar with the Ides of March. And we got to reenact it. And I had the knife, the dagger in my hand, and I got to give him the stab. And I went up to him and said, "Et tu, Brute?" And he looks at me and said, "Et tu, Crow?" And then another day when we didn't want to learn very much, he brought in a fake rifle and we put, for his birthday, I know a lot of people are going to remember this, we put lips all over it because he swore when he was in the army that they would put his rifle before him and he'd have to do push-ups and kiss his rifle. I bet the family didn't know those little stories, did you? And then my best last story, I thought I was really funny in high school, you know, like I think I'm a comedian now. And he had this jacket on the back of this chair. And my friends put me up to a lot of things in high school that I have now carried out now that I'm giving my big benefits to my students. And I took his coat and hung it on the outside where there was a moat around Columbus for anyone who went there. And I thought it was hilarious because this coat was whipping in the wind. And all of a sudden it starts raining, and I still remember that coat taking a nosedive. And I thought, I'm out of here. So as I'm going out of class, I just got a little call back. You can go get the coat now. But my only payback was I was in, Once Upon a Mattress with him. And we lived in the same parish, so he was going to pick me up one night, and he forgot me. And now he's saying on purpose it happened. But again, from all of us, and again, the class I think most well represented, the class of 71. We loved you. And the great thing is, I'm a learning consultant now, and I work with learning disabled students. And so a lot of my friends, and a good friend of mine was over at Aquinas Mercy, and we were at a big meeting, a support group. And she told me, you know what's amazing? We have this teacher at our school who's not the youngest teacher, but he's the one who works best with our kids who have any kind of difficulties at all. And I looked at her and I said, don't tell me his name. Is it JG? She goes, oh my God, it's Jim Grumich. So again, we love you, and we'll continue to love you. Thank you.
As always, they say the best to last. Aquinas Mercy High School class of 1962. I'm pleased and proud to be here tonight. Jim Grumich was one of my first English teachers. 25 years later, he was my children's English teacher and drama coach. About 2 years ago, Dave Bolish called me and asked me to say a few words at the communion breakfast for our seniors. My son Michael was graduating. He gave me about 2 weeks to prepare for those memories, and it took me about that time to get it all together. By the time it was all done, I had 8 pages of handwritten notes, legal-sized paper. My son was in high school for 4 years. 42 years later, one of my favorite teachers, and I got a page and a half. But everybody bear with me, for a lot of things have been said, but read between the lines. For the class of 1962, Aquinas Mercy High School, 117 strong graduates. Well wishes from across the United States, from California, from Arizona, from Texas, from Missouri, from Georgia, Louisiana, from Rhode Island, from New Jersey, from Florida and Ohio. But well wishes for you, Mr. Jim Grumich, from the class of 1962. Congratulations on your retirement. So I walked in this evening, there was a lot of rumors floating around the room. The rumor tonight was that the class of 1962 was Jim Grumich's all-time favorite class. So I went to verify this rumor. So I went around and I polled every graduate from 1962, and they confirmed that the class of 1962 is truly Jim Grumich's favorite class. So be it. Close. CCHS was Jim's first teaching job. His teaching position. All the graduates from CCHS, especially the class of 1962, appreciate your sharing your time and your talent with us, whether it was in the classroom or in the drama club. In the drama club, whether on stage or behind the scenes, your ability to guide us and pull the talent out of our swell heads in time for great performances was uncanny. From your favorite all-time class, we salute you with the same respect that you had for every class or for every student that you met, taught, or coached. Rumor has it, from the 1962 class of Corpus Christi High School, that you were the favorite teacher. And there are 25 of us tonight that will confirm that rumor. Jim, thank you so much.
James Grumich, Chapter 2. The curtain fell on Corpus Christi in 1973. His career looked a bit iffy. He shut Corpus down and moved across town to build a theater at Mercy. With Jim as its mentor, he created the Fine Arts Center. The drama theater was born and led me to his horn. For his efforts, Mercy was the better. The second phase of Jim's career was at Mercy High School. Jim Babbage is going to give us a little history of those years at Mercy High School.
Dominant head, continuing the Jim Grumich saga, and I remember studying at Loyola University in Chicago, and Father Jerry Burmeister, a famous Jesuit at that time, was teaching the differences between a novel and a saga, and one of the differences he said was that a novel took place during a period of time. A saga could go on for decades, centuries, or even eons. So, to continue the Jim Grumich saga. Responding to an invitation by Father Charles E. Burgoon in the fall of 1973, or in the late summer of 1973, a young, energetic, imaginative, and creative guy called Jim Grumich appeared upon the Mercy scene. And Mercy High School would never be the same since then. Mercy High, with the help of Father Burgoon, Jim established the Fine Arts Theater. And this theater was a precursor of Studio A, located here now at St. Thomas Aquinas Mercy High School. The first play Jim directed was Life with Father, And this play took place in the gymnasium as the Fine Arts Center was not yet ready. And in this play, two of the smaller children were cast. They were Tim and Dan Grumich. Is there such a thing as a stage father? The first play presented in the Fine Arts Theater was Star Spangled Girl with a cast of 3. Tim Hogan, who is now a lawyer, Ray Bain, who is the CEO of a corporation, and Chris Weber, a very nice-looking little blonde girl. You remember her, don't you, Jim? She's now a corporate secretary. So, Mercy students soon became aware of the fact that also Mr. Grumich was very interested in historical events, especially historical events that took place in Illinois and in Missouri, and especially historical events that took place in St. Louis. I remember the first year Mr. Grumich was there. He came in the fall of 73 and in the spring of 73. A student came up to me and says, you know, Mr. Babbage, Mr. Grumich, when he speaks about the St. Louis World Fair you would think that he was almost there, riding a big wheel and in line to have the first ice cream cone, which was made out of a waffle, wasn't it, Jim? The waffle cone at that time. So I didn't want to disillusion the kid, but I really wanted to take him aside and say, kid, he was there. In the early years of Mercy, Jim also founded the Sunday travel tours. These tours became quite popular. Parents, friends, students, faculty, and staff were invited to gather together on a Sunday afternoon at Mercy and then bound aboard. Now, they weren't bound. They boarded a bus and to travel to faraway places with strange-sounding names. The likes of Prairie du Rocher, Waterloo, and DuPont in Illinois, and Herman, Augusta, and St. James in Missouri. These trips became very popular during his stay at Mercy, the Sunday afternoon tours. Jim also founded a drama club at Mercy, which is a precursor to the very successful drama club established now at Aquinas Mercy. But in conclusion, I would like to make a few remarks about the spiritual side of Jim Grumich, of which I have come to know. Jim and his wife, Maureen, have been shining examples of what Catholic parents should be to their 4 children. They lived as a family, whether traveling, going to church, or participating in drama or athletic events. I have come to know Jim over the years as a morally upright, kind, concerned, and caring gentleman. He has shared these attributes with his God, his family, his students, and with all the people with whom he has come into contact. I was deeply impressed when I heard that Jim volunteered, and also volunteered his wife Maureen, to take the wee hour of the morning to go to St. Sebastian's every week for perpetual adoration when they had that at St. Sebastian. No other people cared to get up. Was it the 4 o'clock shift, 5 o'clock shift? And he did volunteer Maureen to go with him. He is a nice guy, isn't he? So Jim now begins his day here at Aquinas Mercy by assisting in Mass in the chapel, thanks to the generosity of Father Jim Bigley, who says a daily Mass here at 7:15 in the morning. So I hope that this morally upright, kind, concerned, and caring Jim Grumich has a long life ahead of him to share with Maureen, his children, his grandchildren, and friends. Good luck, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. This is your opportunity for anyone from Mercy High School to take the floor and say a few words. Do we have any takers out there?
Okay.
Does this mean that the people from Corpus Christi are the only ones who talk?
I'm Sister Mary Charity Grace. I'm a Sister of Mercy. I have been at Mercy, taught a lot of your moms and dads, maybe, from 50 to 60. And then I was away for a long time, came back in 79, and that's when I met Mr. Grumich. And I used to take advantage of those tours on the Sunday. We called them the Fine Arts Tours. And they did, for $10 a year, a family could get on this bus and go about 4 different places. I mean, it was great. I can remember that Tim was a young fella, and I think he was artistically inclined, and he sketched a picture that I still have of my Uncle Fred. He was sitting sideways behind him and never letting a moment pass without doing something worthwhile. He sketched the best image of my uncle I ever saw. A beautiful thing happened on one of our tours. The bus driver got lost. I think we were over in Illinois. And we were out in the country. We didn't know where we were. I don't know what we were on the way to. Where? We were in DeRoche. Okay. And so all we saw was gullies and fields and what have you. But this is the beautiful thing that happened. That bus driver shouldn't have been on that road. But here we were, high in the bus, and someone looked over in a gully and saw a car. An accident had occurred, and the car was at an angle down in this crevice. People were still in the car, but no one passing by at car level could see who was down in that gully. But we in the bus were able to see, and then alerted and got some help to come. And so I thought, the Lord really writes straight with crooked lines. And you know, that's kind of the way it goes in the lives of so many of us who are teachers. I loved your song about Mr. Grumich being a wonderful guy and a great teacher, and what are we going to do without him? And I think what you do is you go on and do likewise with other people. Life is so short. Don't lose a minute of it. Make every minute of it count. We love you, Mr. Grumich. You make minutes count.
Ode to James Grumich, Chapter 3. The story was not done. He says, let's continue the run. When Aquinas and Mercy merged, he created a drama surge and showed students how to have theatrical fun. Studio A, he called the new stage. Slowly but surely it became the rage. But now, amidst his friends, the Aquinas Mercy phase reaches an end as he says goodbye in Y2K. That was supposed to be an iambic pentameter. Rhyme, A-A-B-B-A. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Very good. The Aquinas Mercy years are going to be explained to us, and Jim's involved in it, by the current principal, Paul Fry.
1985, the two schools combined, the school from Pennsylvania Avenue and the school from Dunn Road. And we were told, I was told by the superintendent, that we could choose any of the teachers from Mercy that we wanted. When I look around and see the people we chose, I have to wonder sometimes if I knew everybody that was at Mercy. And I look at Jim Babich and Jim Grumich, and I think to myself, oh my goodness, why did I choose these old guys? But the old guys are very wise sometimes, and that proved to be the case with Jim. He wanted to start a theater program, he told me when he came. I didn't realize what that meant. We had a play in the fall and a play in the spring, and they were a mess sometimes because the week after the play was over, none of the kids had come back to school. They were all recovering. And Jim came and said he wanted to have a drama club and drama and so forth. And before I knew it, he had become friends of the maintenance man, Dennis Pierce. I had some things for Dennis to do, but he said, I can't do them. I'm building a theater. And he really did build a theater. I couldn't believe that. I have come to know more about theater than I ever wanted to find out. I know where you get costumes, lights, everything. And that wasn't my intention when we started out on this, but there are many of the students who Jim has instructed here tonight from Aquinas Mercy, and I'm sure they're eager to come and talk to you about these last 15 years, this last third of Jim's career here at Aquinas Mercy. It's been a wonderful time.
We're offering the floor to anyone from Aquinas Mercy who would like to say a few words.
I will be brief. I only have two things. I would say they're unrelated. The first one is I cannot believe there are so many classes who think that they were Mr. Grumich's favorite class. Because that's how he made us feel. And he made each of us feel like we were so special and unique. Not only in theater, anyway, my name's Meredith Handley. Class of 88, Aquinas Mercy. I was there at the beginning when Mr. Grumich was building the theater and everything, and it was quite exciting. And anyway, he made us feel like we were so worthy and so special, and that we were so talented. And he just looked at all the work we did like it was the best thing ever, and that's how he made us feel. And then the other point was, anytime I have a holiday or a special event and I feel like things aren't going to come together, like dress rehearsal, I always hear Mr. Grumich's voice in my head. I mean, Christmas Eve, night before Easter, anything. Don't worry, the magic of the occasion will bring it together.
Sometimes we have to give presentations, and I just love when people do it with emotion.
I'm Craig Hallway, graduated in thank you. Aquinas Mercy class of 96. We're one thing. We were one of some of the last students to be involved with the drama club here at Aquinas Mercy with Mr. Grumich. And I want to tell a short story, really funny. This is Mr. Grumich like Mr. Grumich, the drama teacher, Mr. Grumich, you know, outside school. Up here at school one night, had a musical, I think it was a cabaret. Decided to go out to eat after the cabaret, and went to Applebee's. And now keep in mind that cabaret is in the springtime, and of course with spring comes the holy season of Lent. So we're at Applebee's, and the waitress had come out with our menus, and she started taking our orders, and of course I had foolishly placed myself before the Grumichs. That way the waitress would ask me first what I would like to eat. So she got to me, and I had ordered a hamburger in Lent. So on a Friday. So Mr. Grumich, looking up from his menu, slowly, and with that Charlton Heston, Craig, did you really order meat? Of course not. Popcorn shrimp, please. Right before, and so that was, you know, the classic Greek. How we did so many times. I never had the opportunity of having Mr. Grumich for class. However, I will attest to the 1904 World's Fair. Ladies and gentlemen, he didn't just tell that story in class, okay? Mr. Grumich, what can I say? You know, 8 years. It's been a long time, and I know you feel it. Mr. Grumich and I, you know, he jokes me about my vertical, and of course I joke Mr. Grumich that the only difference between a retirement party and a funeral is that he's here to hear all the good things. Years of memories, friends, and everything that makes it a beautiful thing to go through. Thank you. Congratulations.
Hello, I'm Kevin Suntimer, class of '96. First of all, I'd like to say that, as many of you know, I'm a person of very few words, so I'll keep this brief. I just wanted to say I don't really have like a funny story to tell, but just that Mr. Grumich, through like the 4 years that I spent with him in high school, and also like years after, from knowing him through my brothers that went to Aquinas Mercy, you have made me pretty much what I am today through your inspiration, and that's probably not a compliment.
And the Ferris wheel from the 1904 World's Fair is buried somewhere underneath the golf course in Forest Park. If you're looking for it, it's there. Am I lying?
The fire hydrant.
The fire hydrant is there as well. I'm Aquinas Mercy 96. I'd like to thank Corpus Christi for turning this into a fraternity party. Corpus Christi rules! I go with the crowd. I got to know Mr. Grumich really well. I've been, had many moments with his family. His wife, Mrs. Grumich, once told me, when are you going to get a real man's haircut? how did I do? And he went, why don't you sweep the stage? And then he came up to college, because I went to college with his son, Rob Grumich, where he was supposed to take care of me, but I think we all know who took care of who. And I said, Mr. Grumich, how did I do? And he went, so I know if I ever get a hey, you did good, I stunk up the stage. Mr. Grumich, thank you very much for being there for all of us. You deserve everything you've heard tonight and everyone that is here to see you. Thank you very much. I'm now going to step away from the mic because I forgot what I was going to say next.
My name is Adam Grun, and I am class of 1996. If anybody had been in the Aquinas Mercy Drama Club since 92 on, there's always a story about me, because he always used to say about there's always one person in their junior year that comes in and starts in the plays and then enjoys it so much that they just keep on doing it. Well, my first play was directed by Chris Ramsey.
It's not my retirement!
And then I enjoyed it so much that I just kept going. And since then he hasn't been able to get rid of me because I just keep coming back. My senior year, I'll never forget when Mr. Grumich actually came up to me and said, Adam, we're doing a read-through and I want you to read the part of Julius Caesar. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is an honor. I'm like, am I that good? And he goes, well, no, you're pompous and arrogant. And coming up after I graduated and bothering you guys and, you know, making you guys take me out to Applebee's with Craig where he's been sitting. And then I'm going to leave everybody here on a closing remark that Mr. Grumich said to me that I will always cherish. And that was, you know, Adam, I have 3 sons. And out of those 3, you are my favorite.
Class of 1991. I heard about this party, I guess back in September, and I immediately phoned him and said, what can I do? What can I do? When can I book my plane ticket? I am here tonight, Mr. Grumich, and it's going to be hard because I'm going to start bawling. Prepare yourself. To say thank you, because at the age of 14, you opened my eyes and my life to what is my career, my livelihood now. And I'm very fortunate and blessed to have a life in theater and to now be educating teenagers and seeing probably what you saw all the time from us, which is their neuroses and their fun and trying to put a play together when they just broke up with their boyfriend. But I just wanted you to know that you're a true inspiration in my life, and thank you for opening my world to such a wonderful art form.
I have nothing prepared, but my name is Mary Morgan Corbett, class of 91. And I just wanted to really see him up close because it's been so long. But you don't know this, but you're like a second father. You have been, you don't know, obviously, but all through high school, he's truly, everybody has said this already, but he's been there for everybody. He encouraged soccer jocks and football, everybody to come try out for plays, and they did, and it's addictive. And as you all know, once you work with Mr. Grumich, you don't want to stop. So we love you, and you will always be special to me in my heart. So congratulations, and thank you for everything.
this wasn't a contest, but I sure enjoyed the class of '96. I especially enjoyed the line, I have to paraphrase it. You made me everything that I am. That's not necessarily true. I wish I could have written that line. For some reason, I feel a song coming on. Aquinas Mercy will close out our program.
We ask Jim and Maureen to come forward, please. Jim Grumich has a presentation to make on behalf of the faculty.
will now be known forever as the Jim Grumich Theater. And also, Jim, on behalf of the administration, faculty, and staff, a little remembrance for you. Thank you very much.
What I want to know is, don't any of you have anything better to do tonight? Or watch an old man quit working? It's a shame that all these talented and sophisticated people can find nothing better to do. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. Otherwise, I'm glad I'm here. Otherwise, you'd be sitting here watching the walls. You're eating pretty well, I guess, but you... Seriously, I am overwhelmed by tonight. I had no idea that this was going to be so mammoth and so many people from my past. It's like my whole life is going before me tonight. And it's wonderful. I had occasion this morning to attend a memorial mass for an old Irish gentleman whose daughter is a good friend of my wife's. And they read at the Mass a lot of accolades for him, of course, and they read at the Mass some words that his daughter had written. And she said that Daddy is probably up there in heaven feeling very uncomfortable at the big hoopla that's being made over him this morning. But he's also very, very proud. And I thought to myself, that might be applied to me tonight. The only difference is that I'm not dead. Some afternoons, about 2:30 after a pretty hard day, or Friday afternoons especially, I have to check. But I am here. But at any rate, I am a little disturbed, I guess, by all the hoopla made over me, because I don't know that I deserved that much. I just did my job and fulfilled my career, and I guess I touched some people. But I'm also very proud that you think that I did a good job. And that's very, very heartening to me. I have to thank a number of people tonight, and I'll keep it as brief as I can. First of all, I clearly want to thank my wonderful wife that has been faithful to me for 40 years of marriage. She's going to be very upset when I say this publicly, but she holds the record, by the way, for the most plays seen. If it's in the Guinness Book of Records, but it ought to be. You've heard of soccer widows and football widows. She is a theater widow. Has been very, very supportive of all of the activity. She lets me know every once in a while. She reminds me of those early years at Carpus, particularly when I spent an immense amount of time. She reminds me of that, and so on. But she's been very, very supportive through the years, and I want her to know publicly before all of you how much I thank her, how much I love her, and how much my success is due in very great part to her. So thank you. I would like to take a moment to thank my children. They've been very supportive as well. We're very proud of our 4 kids. If you bear with me, I would like to introduce them. My oldest child is my daughter Mary Beth, who many of you from Carpus remember because she was born right in the midst of those early years. A she was a drama club baby. She is part of the diocesan structure as well. She's part of the Department of Special Ed. She taught 11 years at St. Christopher's, and now she heads up the Department of Special part of the Department of Special Ed that deals with religious ed for handicapped, disabled students. And she is married to Don Schulte, who is a wonderful teacher at Pattonville High School, and they have a little boy, first grade, who goes to Rose Acres, one of the Pattonville grade schools. So Mary Beth and Don and Colin, would you stand up, please? My oldest son, Dan, is here with his family, and he is a sports writer for the North County Journal. Some of you who read the Journal instead of just throwing it off your lawn. His articles. He's been very, very much connected with sports at our school because he covers sports all over North County and writes about them. And of course, his favorite school is Aquinas Mercy. And so he is in constant contact with our coaches and the people in our school about articles having to do with that. He's married to Mary Pat. He has 3 wonderful kids. Danny is a 4th grader at Sacred Heart School, and Connor is in case you don't know, that's Danny. And Connor is a kindergartner who will graduate very soon from kindergarten. That's a big deal. And the princess of our family is our first granddaughter, who's Abby, and she's 10 months old, and she's sitting right up front. So, Dan, Mary Pat, and the kids. My next son is Tim, who is, I'm totally indebted for this evening, especially his contacts with all of you from Corpus. He did an immense amount of work on putting this evening together and making, especially the Corpus contacts, because Jim Babbage knew pretty much the Mercy people and he knew the Aquinas Mercy people, but he did not have any contact with Corpus, and Tim dug through the yearbooks. And of course he grew up coming to the plays at Corpus, so he kind of knew a lot of the people anyway. And he works for the UMSL Library. He's head of the department of the library, which loans books to other libraries. And he does a lot of community theater and has performed quite a lot. So he is here tonight. Tim, where are you? I appreciate all you've done for tonight. Son, Rob, is also pursuing theater. Tim and Rob are probably the most interested in theater of my family. Rob graduated here in 1993 after 4 years. He was a good friend of some people in the class in 96 who won the award or something. At any rate, Rob has completed his education at St. Mary's University in Winona, Minnesota, where he very involved, took a degree in theater and in English, and directed some shows. He directed a wonderful production of Glass Menagerie on the stage of St. Mary's, and also he directed a play in London when his class studied in London for a semester. So he's very interested in directing, and upon completion of college, he went to work for the Black Repertory Theater here. He's worked for them now for 3 years. And I'm happy to say that just a week or so ago, he was accepted at the Western Illinois University on an MFA program, so he'll pursue his graduate degree there up in Macomb, Illinois. And hopefully in about 3 years, he will be teaching on some college faculty and hopefully directing for that college. He married last summer, Molly Barrere. His wife Molly is here with him. She's a teacher at McClure North High School for the last 2 years. So Rob and Molly, where are you? There are a number of other people I must thank. I must definitely have to thank Jim Babbage, who again, does a lot of the development work here at our school and did a tremendous amount of work, along with some of the ladies in the office staff, Jane Hickerson and Carol Angel and Carolyn Bresnahan and some other people, I guess, and I don't really know who all did everything because they didn't tell me a whole lot. Except for Jim Babbage, I'd kind of pump him a little bit because I knew something was going on, and Jim is kind of a person that will drop little hints, and he had dropped a few little hints, but I really did not know the enormity of this evening until tonight. But Jim, thank you for all your work on that, and Jane and Carol and Carolyn and all of you. Thank you. Looking back on 42 and a half years of this job, I have to think of a lot of people, and I'm not going to try to name a lot of names, but I have worked for wonderful administrators and wonderful principals right down the line for all of those 42 and a half years, beginning with the principals and the administrators back at Corpus, and a lot of you who can share that with me, you know who they were, and they were great people. Sadly, many of them are deceased now, some are still living. People at Mercy, when I went there, the Mercy nuns had a tremendous enthusiasm, and it was a wonderfully spirited school. So I worked for Father Burgoon and Jay McGillick were the two administrators, and a number of very, very excellent nuns, Sister Janella and Sister Henry and Sister Betty. So all of them. And then when I came over here to Aquinas Mercy, Mr. Frine, Paul Frine, has been wonderful. He has been extremely cooperative with that. He always told me in the beginning that he thought drama teachers were a little crazy. But I just shrugged that off and said, well, can't we do this? And when I told him we were going to put a theater into a classroom, he thought we were nuts, you know? It was awfully small. And we found out that it works wonderfully, and he was pleased with the many students that became involved. So I thank Mr. Frine tremendously, and of course we've had good principals as well, Karen Tickey and Sister Rosemary, and also current Principal Pat Moore. So all of those people who I've worked for, it's been a wonderful relationship, and I thank them. And I couldn't possibly name all of my colleagues, all of the teachers I've worked with. I sometimes wonder how many teachers I've worked with in 42 and a half years. It's many, 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 many. But my current faculty here that I work with are great people, and it's a wonderful thing. And I wish them well as the school continues and under the new principal next year. But I thank all, especially those of you who are teachers here at our school, who are here tonight for this occasion. So thank you very much as well. And what can I say about my former students? I mean, it's just fantastic that so many of you would be so disillusioned, I guess, to come back and cheer for an old man. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate this tremendous amount of love in this room tonight. I know much of it is directed toward me, but a lot of it is directed from me toward you, because you people, whether you're as old as Bob Kelly in some of the 61 class, or whether you're as young as some of the current students who are here, you've been wonderful and made this a tremendous run. So I thank you all very, very much. I love you all very, very much. And God bless all of you for coming tonight. And those of you whom I didn't get a chance to say hello to, I want to do that. I know I didn't see everybody when I came in, but I will get around if you're willing to stay around some more. Please keep in touch.
Everything's over right now. Please, we have the place until 11 o'clock. I don't know if the food's closed, but certainly stay around for another hour and a half or so. Good night.